just discovered the video of you playing with the controller that is controlling your bass, which is
Oh
fucking
yeah,
genius.
yeah, yeah. The controller, mate.
Genius.
That's
That's the
yeah,
shit that I live for right there is stuff like that. That's so great. I
yeah.
love it.
I've always wanted to do something like that for live performance. Like have I think video
Yeah.
game controllers are like optimized
Yeah.
for they're like little instruments. You know, like
Yeah.
everything is just
Yeah.
kind of like designed to work with your hands. So you could totally find a way to play like a PlayStation
Mm-hmm.
controller like an instrument.
Macro all of it
Totally.
or
Yeah.
something.
It'd be sick. Um, but yeah, I wish I had more succinct advice for labels. Honestly, it's just kind of like worked out when it worked out and didn't when it didn't. But I do think working with smaller collectives is a good way to go. If you find people that you feel like are kind of in the same vein as you or like same caliber as you, buddying up can actually like not only like give you more reach, but also you kind of like bounce off of their journeys. And if they work with a label, then you know that they're accepting sort of like people in the same vein as you, and you can kind of
Mhm.
I don't know, climb up that way. But that's kind of what happened with me. I feel like with Night Owl and Adapted and stuff, it was all like I ended up buddied up with people who were sort of on a similar level to me, and that helped.
Yeah.
And also similar generation, which was cool. You know, they were like kind of inspired by the same artists as me, and then trying to
Right.
sound a certain way. So, but yeah, other than that, I just the biggest recommendation I can have is just like build your profiles and your brands. Get all the visuals and just make everything look sick, so people that stumble upon your music now have an idea of your brand and stuff, and they go like, "Oh, that's that guy. Oh yeah, I heard that guy on this." And yeah,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
it's best I got.
Okay. What else are we gonna look on? I guess I'll go with another question. Who are you aspiring to work with now as far as a remix or collaboration? Do you have any that you're trying to reach for that haven't said yes or that you have in your scope?
I mean, at the moment, the Amon Tobin remix. Obviously, I'm not trying to make music with him, even though I think he's fucking fantastic.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm trying to get him to like let me distribute this remix, and I feel like it's within the realm, like quality wise. I feel like he might like it. And then also I feel like, um, yeah, it's maybe within reach if I can just get a hold of him. But in terms of collaborating, I'm looking for dudes who are like, yes, similar to me, maybe doing a little bit better, but like similar vein. Like, I mean, like I think Chi is a really good example. Like, I have a couple of
Yeah.
tracks with him, and I think if I can release one or two tracks with Chi, that would give me a massive leg up, and I think we make good music together. So, that would be the goal. John Casey is sick. I've been enjoying a fair bit of rhythm lately. Not everything. There's a lot of rhythm that I don't like, but there's things about the production style and kind of like EDM, more
Mhm.
EDM vein stuff that I find interesting. So I've been kind of at least like watching streams and tutorials of dudes like that. Do you know Leatrix? I don't know if we talked about.
No, I don't know Leatrix, but I do know Chi. Chi is really
Okay.
fucking
Oh yeah,
good.
Cheese. Yeah, he's definitely is in a caliber of his own. He's fucking
When you're
insane.
trying to collaborate with somebody, do you have to do it through the label or you just do it personally? Or, like, what is the question that you ask them to do that? How does that work?
Usually what I do, okay, if I had to like distill it down to the best possible way, what I would advise is send a demo that you want them to work on and have it stemmed and ready to go. So it's
Okay.
it's a bit of a
Okay.
pain in the ass because it means like, and this is something that I don't always nail. Like if it's someone that I know well that I know is already keen, I just send them the demo. But even like, so the thing is with like me and Nolan, it's taken us so long to work together, not because we don't want to work together, but just because we're both lazy. So like, I'll send him a demo and he'll be like, "Fuck yeah, like let's work on this." And it'll take me like a week to actually send him the stems, and then I send him the stems, and he'll be like, "Yeah, I'll work on it at some point." And then he'll like just like take a week or two to download the stems, and like all that stuff is like I tend to find the sweet spot for when someone is like most keen to work on it is immediately after they've heard it, because that's when all the ideas are popping into their head. So,
That
um,
shouldn't happen anymore
I mean,
because you're in the same fucking house.
I know. Well, yeah, you'd think that would help, but amazingly, we still suck at it. But we did actually get something done. I mean, so
Okay, cool,
I
cool.
sent him samples. So ultimately, the idea is you want them to be able to act on the moment that they're stimulated. So
Right,
for Nolan, like sending him samples was good because he's only hearing these samples because he's got the pack downloaded on his computer and they're ready to be
right,
used. So in that
right.
instance, there was no extra. Like he didn't have to message me back and wait for anything. He was just like in the mood, and he just like made this beat. sent it to me. Took me, yeah, literally like 3 or 4 weeks to hear this thing he sent me because I was like, I don't know, this was like when I was moving as well. But then,
Right.
yeah, I downloaded it and worked on it eventually. But yeah, that's my best advice. If you find people that you want to work with, send them a track or a handful of tracks, and even have the stems attached. So whatever moment they have where they're like, "Oh fuck yeah, this is really sick. I want to work on this," they can just jump straight in.
Hmm.
That's yeah, that would be my biggest hack, I think, because yeah, if somebody sends me a demo and I'm excited about it, I want to work on it right now, and then yeah, the chances of me working on it tomorrow are a lot slimmer. um,
Okay, and then the other question for the remixing and reaching out to collaborations is like when you did like the Vorso remix and similar things to that nature, they're releasing an EP or an LP or whatever to and how are you getting that information to meet up to that album where your remix releases the same time their song does? How does that work?
that can change. So the Vorso remix, I actually just made that remix. Like I started bootlegging it. I honestly think the best thing with any pitch is have something tangible ready to show them. So with the Vorso remix, I knew I could rope Ryan in from Inspected, and I could rope Tom in if I had something cool to show them. And it wasn't like I didn't have this idea of like I'm gonna do a Vorso remix and get it on Inspected. I was just listening to the track and just started like chopping it up. And the thing I made sounded really sick, and I was like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna print a demo, send this to Tom." And then Tom responded and was like, "I fucking love this. Let's send this to Ryan and send it to him." He was super keen. And then I finished it, which took me a little while longer. I like chipped away at it. But that
Gotcha.
inspired Tom to send me the stems because I like showed him. I feel like he would have done it anyway because I've known Tom for like fuck yeah, he was like around the same time as like he adapted records to like 2013, so
Got
he's a buddy. He would have sent me stems anyway, but
mhm.
I think yeah, the strongest thing is like having a pitch because I don't think I wouldn't email Amon Tobin and be like, hey, can I remix one of your tracks? I'd maybe get a response, but I'm much more confident that I'll get a response in sending him, you know, at least a very close to finished idea, you know. So I'm sending him
Right.
this remix that I've already done. But yeah, in terms of like synchronizing with releases and shit, it really depends. Like with the KLab one that I just did, he put out a post. I think he may have hit me up at one point, but he made a post on Facebook saying like, I'm looking at doing a remix album. I don't think he was even asking for artists. It was just like he just mentioned that he was like working on a remix album, or what did he say?
Mm.
He said, oh, "Who would you want to hear on a remix album?" And
Aha.
I just commented on his post, which is
And
hilarious
you
because
just
I think you'd
presented it,
think
yeah.
email would be the way to do it, but a lot of artists are paying attention to their social media, their Twitter,
Okay.
or you just think about where they're looking. So yeah, I commented on that post and just said like something about medicine. I was like, oh my god, medicine though. And just left like a little fucking gift comment. So it was like really visible. And then yeah, he hit me up and let me remix that. And so that I guess I coordinated with him because he was doing a remix album, but it really varies. And ultimately, yeah, I think the best course, unless they're like a really big artist, is to try and contact the artist directly because a lot of the time they do have, the rights or at least the power to do something with their own shit. And if they are working with a label, then they'll rope in the label themselves. But
Right.
I don't know. Yeah, if it's like really big artists, you might have to hit up their management. Like that's what I did with Amon Tobin because I figured,
Mhm.
his manager's more likely to be good at emailing than he is. So I don't know. Yeah.
So as far as this remix, would you be interested in doing anything with it, or is it not really up to your standards or
The dunk
your
one, you mean?
yeah?
All right, I'll be honest. I think there's some really sick bases and stuff in there. I do think it could use some cleaning up if you wanted to
Okay.
do like a collaboration.
Okay.
Just with the layering and that sort of thing. I think some of the bases, the original bases underneath the bases that you've added. I like the bases you added, but I think you'd have to chop a few things out. Which, if you actually
Yeah.
if you wanna crack into that, I can give you the stems for this. So you can
Okay.
actually like have shit to play
Yeah.
with. And
Yeah.
yeah. Um, but yeah, so yeah, I think I want to do some cleaning up and stuff if you want to
That's
collaborate
that's
on it.
cool.
Um,
I'd love it if you were interested. If you're interested, then yeah, let's do it.
cool. Yeah, yeah. I think I actually made a stem pack for Dunk already, so I won't have to do anything. I can literally just pull that up and send it to you if you want to play around with it.
Awesome. Yeah.
Um, and yeah, we can do a bit of back and forth if you want to. If you
Awesome.
wanted to
Let's do
shop
it.
that.
Yeah.
Um,
If
but
you
yeah,
like it. If you don't like it, it's not up to you, your standards, then I respect that. So
cool. 100%. I appreciate that. Yeah. No, I'll be honest with you. I'll be honest with you through the
good. Good. I'm
process.
glad.
Um, But yeah, no, hell yeah. Um, yeah. Have you got any new demos you've been chipping away at, or have you been trying to focus on kind of polishing up the stuff you got?
Yeah, I updated a few of the songs that the one that I showed you at the end of the last session I've been working on, and um I think like a pack of 5 that I'm working on, but nothing like finished, obviously, just stuff that I'm experimenting with in new, and I'm taking old music and I'm trying to salvage them. Since I don't have like a pocket in drum and bass, I'm trying to halftime a lot of those songs to sound more neuro hopish in
Yeah.
a way, so I can maybe attack that in a different light, you know. Like the drum and bass journey that I had, very very like hierarchy, I guess. It's like
Yeah.
very in tune people with like, oh, we need to keep this, I don't know, gatekeeping, I have no idea, but
Yeah.
um
Right.
so I'm considering, entering the neurohop world by remixing my own stuff into halftime, because I feel like the halftime bits to some of my drum and bass songs are maybe more sick than the drum and bass part. So
Yeah. Right.
I might
Oh
be doing
fuck yeah.
that on top of working on new stuff. So
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if that's fun, I think that's a great idea to do that. If you enjoy like reworking the ideas, that'd be sick.
well, I love those songs. They just, because I've gotten so much failure and shut down with them. Like if I release it a different way, maybe I'll love it again.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Fair enough. Yeah, I get that. Yeah, when stuff doesn't kind of go the way you want, you think, "Oh, is this
Yeah, you
actually
get
shit?"
frustrated.
Like,
And you're like, I don't even like the song anymore.
yeah,
Don't even like it
yeah,
anymore.
I feel that.
Maybe I'll love it again. So I'll try doing that too.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I honestly think the best thing with that is just to keep making ideas and putting them out. You know, like
That's kind of where I'm at.
don't get too perfectionist about it. Like, because when I think the hardest thing is if you're not getting a shit ton of feedback from stuff, it is very hard to tell
Yeah.
uh I mean, first of all, like what you like and don't like about it. If you feel like, you don't know what's getting response and stuff, the things you nitpick might not match,
Right.
what work it
Right.
actually needs. I have a buddy in Melbourne who I met back in the early Neurohop days, like he was on that Adapted Records release.
Mhm.
Really talented producer, but he, like, I guess he didn't release a lot of stuff for quite a while, and like I met him, like, and he was like, sort of just like basically stopped doing music like very often, and listening to his stuff, he was like, yeah, this like snare is really weird, and like, oh, this thing is really strange. And I was like, all the criticisms he had about his own music didn't
Mhm.
really match. Like, there were things about it
Mhm.
where I was like, oh, it sounds like you're a little bit rusty in some spots, but still really fucking talented dude.
Right.
And all his own criticisms of his own music like didn't match what, it didn't actually make sense. And I think it
Mhm.
was just because he was so, like, he was just criticizing his own stuff and thinking really hard about it. I was like, just put your shit out, man. Like, I think if it's not good, then worst case scenario, no one really pays attention to that track and you make a new one. That's fine. But the
Yeah.
worst thing you can do is
That's
sit
kind of
there
where
and
I
slave over it, forever, and then you get to a point where you don't even like the song, and it's just,
yeah.
becomes
Yeah.
laborious.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
that's definitely where I felt with most of my music that I did love, that I really loved at the time, but then nobody bid it, and so I was just like, maybe it isn't good. Maybe I don't like it anymore, so I'm gonna make new shit.
yeah, I know that feeling, and yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it ebbs and flows. I mean, it's funny. I feel like, yeah, you can have that at any point in your journey. That feeling of like, my stuff sucks. But yeah, just keep making
Too
shit.
often. Yeah. I mean, yeah, the remix was like the first remix I've been excited for in a minute. I do constant remixes, but I took
Oh,
a break
sick.
from that too. So that was the first remix I did in a while.
Oh, sick. Oh, that's awesome. Okay, well, I feel like I want to give you some stems then, so you can actually, like,
Yeah.
have the basses and stuff separately.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, and then you can like cue me on what you would want me to kind of scoop out of there or update, because I definitely want to know your needs and requirements
yeah, for
for that.
sure. Yeah, I'm happy to shop that. That's cool. I actually haven't. I don't think I've ever released a remix of one of my own tracks
You
done by another
should.
artist. Funny enough, so I thought about
You
doing like a
should,
remix
man.
EP.
The
Um,
Outer Edges, album was crazy cool, and they just did it themselves. So I'm like, you could probably come up with a cool idea with some of your stuff, like remixing it, making it harder or quiet, like Mother on some really hard song, like the Mother elements, just like calm tonal and lo-fi almost. if you put that like
Yeah.
on something that was really, really hard and just kind of redistribute it, it would add this new character like greatness to your music and your production skills, just highlighting yourself,
Yeah,
even though
damn.
that sounds vain, but I think you'd be great at it.
Nah. Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, I appreciate that. It would be fun. I think I'd
Yeah,
enjoy
right?
it. I enjoy just
Yeah.
hearing people's takes on my music anyway. So yeah, okay. Well, that's got a thought going for me. Maybe
Good,
I'll look at
good.
doing a remix EP or something that could be fun.
Yeah, dude,
Um,
that'd be sick. I look forward to that if that's gonna happen.
okay, yeah, no, all right. I'll source some stems for you. I definitely am. I'm pretty confident. I definitely at least did Steezy, but I think I have stems for Dunk, and if not, I can make them. I'm pretty sure I still have the thing on my laptop. So,
Nice.
I'll get you some stems for that. That would be cool.
Cool. It's so awesome. I appreciate you.
Oh, no worries.
Um,
Huh.
so have you ever reverse engineered a bass?
Yes, I've definitely attempted a lot of times, and the results vary. Yeah, it's hard. Reverse
Yeah.
engineering is hard. I think I like the further. Obviously, I mean, maybe this is like not a no-brainer, but it definitely has gotten easier over the years. I can listen to a bass and get an idea of like what characteristics it has. But I
Mhm.
think the first bass I like really successfully reverse engineered was Disprove. You probably would know.
Yes.
Yeah. So like
Yeah. We talked about the
his
last time. He's one of my favorite drum and bass guys
oh
up
yeah.
there.
Yeah, he does the like neuro thing really well, I think. And I
Mhm.
remember he did you would have heard Rustic Funk.
Yes.
Yeah, that track like was a massive inspiration to me when I was in high school, like 2013 or whatever, and
Mhm.
I like figured out not exactly that bass, but I just got a really good idea of like what kind of things went into making that bass.
Mhm.
And I like manually put the harmonics in. So I put the sub note in, and then I put two different other sine waves at different notes, and just ran it through distortion, and it worked. And I was like, holy shit! And
Oh, nice.
but it's really
That's
hard. Reverse engineering basses is like hard, particularly nowadays. I think in some ways, like processing is getting more and more elaborate and weird.
yeah.
So like replicating it is just. But yeah, I think it's a good exercise. I think it's something that's like really good
Mhm.
for your palate to do, I guess.
Right, right. I agree. What are we at for time?
I
Going
mean,
on.
we're an hour in. Yeah, we got another half an hour. I don't know. Yeah.
Um, well, I guess if there's not much to update about the Psychosis song, because you think it's kind of worthy now, just with the hi-hats or the high end being brought back up, then we can just continue talking. Because you know, as much as I love music, I also want to get to know you too, because that's cool.
Yeah,
You're cool.
totally.
You're a cool guy, and
Thanks,
I
man.
respect
So you.
I respect you, and I look up to you. So, let's
Thanks,
see
man.
here.
Hell yeah.
What's your favorite VST to use and for sound design, and why?
Oh, okay. Let me. Oh, my screen share.
I
I
know you use
closed it.
Vital, I know you use Ghost, I know you use FFNA, I know you use Serum, Massive. I know you've used all of them, but what is the one where you're just like, what was used to make When I'm Back? Because When I'm Back, the basses in there, like I'm super,
Oh.
super impressed by.
Oh, that's it. Yeah, that's a multi-layered question. Well, not a multi-layered question, but there's a few things in that track.
Dude, When
Okay,
I'm
let
Back,
me.
yeah, that bass that comes in, I don't know, I forgot the time code, but I was wondering what or what VST you used for that, and like, because it sounds so fucking sick.
Let me
Try
pull.
to
I'll pull up the track because there's one sample in there that
we if we're talking about the same sample, I'm gonna flip out.
I mean there is one like kind of woofing sample, but I'd be interested if it wasn't that one actually because I can
It's the
remember.
E. You kind of
Oh,
like it's a yeah vowel.
okay. I'll have a look. All right, you can
I need
hear
to figure
this.
out
Okay,
what.
is that audio coming through?
No,
Okay.
negative. I'm gonna find that time code.
Actually, let me. So I got my webcam on, and then if you open my stream, so the one that just has the Ableton window. Uh,
Open,
Yeah.
and back.
it's funny. I have not thought about this track in a really long time, and literally today I got a message from somebody with footage of Mr. Bill playing this track like 2 years ago, and I was like, I
Uh-huh.
didn't know anybody like played this. That's crazy. And then that's funny that you're the second person to mention this to me today for the first time in like years.
I fucking love this song. It's so simple but fucking crazy detailed. It's hard to explain.
Thanks, man.
That's when you know you have talent. You can take like simple 808 like hip hop beat and just make it something so complex that it just makes your mind blow apart.
Thanks, bro.
That's it. Okay, 213, 211.
Okay, yeah,
213. That's the bass. So I'm like, it sounds sort of like a ripping zipper or something.
Oh yeah, okay, I know the one you're talking about.
That bass is so
Actually,
fucking sick, dude.
That's FM8, I think.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Shit. If I'm correct,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I used that same one in Trash. Potentially. Not Trash. Yeah. Actually, in the fills, I'm pretty sure I did.
It's good to know that you've recycled basses in other songs. I do that all the time. And I'm wondering, like, am I being redundant? Are people noticing?
I mean, I had phases like in my first like few years of production. I almost had like this internal policy that I would make a new bass every time. And it's because I was doing so much stuff in Massive and in MIDI. I was like constantly trying to make a better bass, and it was happening quite quickly. Whereas nowadays, I don't want to spend as much time on basses. I have like a period of time where I have like a process where I like enjoy making basses, and then when I'm writing, I don't really want to spend ages on sound design. I kind of just want to slap shit in. So yeah, sometimes I reuse the same basses. And sometimes it's like, like a half a beat of bass just to fill in a gap, and you don't want to spend 15 minutes making a sound for that.
I will do that though.
Yeah,
I definitely have done
that. If it works for you, if you can like do that without derailing your process, hell yeah, I think that's awesome. Yeah, there's like a that bass.
I don't know the time code because I can't hear it, but if you give me the code, I'll listen to it on YouTube.
Yeah, that's weird. I'm trying to think. So you've got my, because how I've got the two streams. I've got my webcam one, which shows, like basically you can see like my Discord and like my whole screen, and then I've got the other stream which is just Ableton. Is that one open?
Oh wait. Okay, try playing it again. Try playing it again.
Oh, that's working.
Yeah, it's working. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no stress. That's all right. So that bass, I could be wrong, but I feel like I made these actually around a very similar time frame.
The one from When I'm Back and that one?
Yeah, I could be wrong, but so there's that. Yeah. So different filter movement. I would argue that I'd say they're probably both FM8 though. I'll just see if I've got that patch. It was literally I literally called it something Skrillex.
That's generous.
Actually,
of you.
that looks. I mean, I'd be fascinated to see if this worked after, because I made Trash in like 2017, so it would be really
ahead of its time.
Thanks, man. Damn, does these work? I don't know why these don't load.
I have another good question for you after we get through this. It's a personal one.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, hit me with it.
Right now, what is your favorite song you've ever produced ever? Number one. Oh yeah.
Ghost, man. This is beta plugins. This is just making noise. Like there's not even a. Yeah, that's glitchy as fuck. I don't even know what to do about that. close that down. Yeah, okay, so I mean, I have the patch here, but I'm pretty sure this is it, but I can't seem to get it to open. It might just be an older growl macro. Let's try ODT as fuck, slightly push. Why do these not work? I don't understand. So like this as well. Okay, maybe let's try open a MIDI channel and then.
Yeah, that might be the ticket.
I mean, you'd hope, but this doesn't seem to be anywhere I can actually.
This is something that happens to me that I really hate too. Like I want to like
Yeah.
pull up my old shit, but some reason not wanting to do what I wanted to do.
Yeah. I mean, this actually is not even letting me drag anything in. So maybe this. Oh, hang on. Linear phase OTT. What? Oh god. Oh wait, this isn't my. This is somebody else's rack that I have apparently. Oh, I know why this is. It's not because. Oh, actually, no, it might fix that. Oh. So I'm realizing it's because of Dropbox. I have this thing, or like I used to sync to Dropbox and then basically put the files in online only mode so that it basically
Gotcha.
like doesn't store it on your computer until you try to access it, and then it will download it from Dropbox. So the reason those aren't dragging in is because I actually don't have the file directly available.
Gotcha.
But if I plug my
Nice.
hard drive in, I might be able to.
I saw something click up on that.
Yeah, let's see. That looks like it's doing something now. The fuck? Okay. I double clicked it and it is thinking. Yep, okay. Let's see what this sounds like. I see FM8 patches are really hit and miss. Sometimes they don't. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, there we go.
That's the one that was in trash, I'm pretty sure. I don't know if I could do it. Yeah, D.
It definitely sounds like a reverse shape for the filtering and the when I'm back bass. Definitely a different shape. It goes from top to bottom to top instead of reverse. I feel like.
Yeah, this one does sound. Might not be the same one. Definitely a very similar process for this. And if I just do a macro here, I'll see how close we get.
This is the one feature of Ableton that I'm actually interested in switching over for. Is this right here where you can shape it?
Oh, the automation. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
It is
It's
nice
kind of
for that. That's
not so nice in FL Studio. It's a little more difficult, a little less free to bend. I
yeah.
guess.
I think that is the main thing I switched to Ableton for back in the day was the macros and the automation is really
That
good.
was
But
another
then
question I was going to ask you, and you answered it for me. So thank you.
hell yeah, yeah. I mean, so the thing is, I find myself like lately, I've been going back to FL Studio because I really
Oh
enjoy
yeah.
the workflow.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
making sounds in the channel window, and then the way the mixer is laid out, where you can just plug cables in and stuff, is really
Yeah.
nice if you have like a good template set up, and then you just focus on putting sounds in. But yeah, the one thing that's really annoying with FL is dealing with the automation. It's just like awkward. It's like re-EQ'd differently, I'd say. That's like a lot more mid-rangey in the trash thing. But I think there is actually another something that's not linked here.
Also, some of the stock preset or stock plugins are fucking crazy useful and cool
In
on
Ableton, you
Ableton.
mean? Or
Yeah,
FL?
yeah.
Yeah.
No, in Ableton because I've looked at some of the things that they use. Like Operator is such a like diverse stock plugin.
Totally.
There's really not anything like it as stock in FL. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Operators.
It is very tidy. I think it's nice that it all just sort of fits in this little window. I will say though, in terms of FM plugins, I really like Citrus. in
Yeah,
FL.
it's too visual for me. I feel like for sound design, I can't operate visually in order to do it right. It seems like when
Yeah.
I have this kind of situation, it works out better for me.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I will say Citrus does have like a lot of tabs and windows and stuff, and
Yeah.
so it feels like you gotta do a fair few steps before you've got like a functional sound.
Right.
I
Right.
do like its capabilities, but yeah, I think like a nicer interface would be good. That's why I've been liking Ghost
I've been
for
messing
FM
with it. I've
stuff.
been messing with it, trying to get like good, you know, good harmonics into an FM bass to add on top of distortion or below distortion. I've been trying to
Yeah. Yeah,
come up
no.
with some of the basses in the remix actually in Ghost. So
Oh, nice. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's a good plugin. I think it's just I mean it needs to be. There's a few things that need updating, and it crashes and does weird shit like it did before. So that's kind of an L. But
crashes on you? It hasn't crashed on me yet.
yeah, I was using multiple instances. I found sometimes you get weird voicing issues or like it's like they
Oh, okay.
link in a strange. I don't know. It's only been random sort of sporadic things, but I think it's just teething stuff. You know, it's just like fleshing out the
Gotcha.
plugin. But sick plugin. But yeah, thinking of plugins because you asked me like what my favorite plugins are. It sort of changes. I think what I end up with nowadays is like clusters of plugins or like handfuls of things that I do that I really enjoy. I don't have like favorite plugins as such. I guess I have things that I enjoy the tone of, like gosh, what have I been playing with recently? Actually, Shaperbox 2, I find I can do a lot with. I don't know if we talked anything about like phase or like delay stuff, but this is one thing I've been really enjoying about Shaperbox. I mean, you can do a lot of crazy shit, but you can do like audio rate stuff
Hmm.
with Shaperbox. So it would be cool if you could do MIDI to audio rate here, but that's kind of fine. So I'll do this as like a square. Actually, no, let's just do a sine wave in. Uh, let's just do D here and put it in Hertz mode. And I can drive it up to, yeah, 5,000 hertz. So it's a pretty fucking fast LFO.
Hmm.
But I can just draw in a volume shape. You can do this in like Vital or whatever. You know, there's plenty of plugins you can do this with. But so D is like 37 hertz or something like that. So let's tune it basically to the bass, and I can just literally with the volume envelope. Yeah, it's pretty handy to be able to see it. I can just reshape this waveform with volume.
Yeah, that's really cool.
And maybe let's double it. So like 72 was what this would be. Yeah, ish. So this is just a sine wave in this.
Like a wave shaper built into it.
Well, all it is volume automation. So this is just a volume LFO, but because you're tuning it. Yeah, you basically are kind of like wave shaping it. Just because you're tuning it to the rate of the oscillation. So if I play a different note, it'll like buzz and do weird shit. It's tuned to that note, but just to be able to do that, it's super sick.
That shit right there.
And the other thing that's cool with Shaperbox, so this time one. So this is like a delay, basically, not like an echo, like it doesn't have like feedback or anything like that. But it's like gross beat, basically. This is what this does. But so if I just do this normally, actually I do have to have the track playing for this to work. But so it does what gross beat does, where you've got like it just like scrubs back and forward and speeds it up and down to kind of like apply changes. But if you put this in Hertz mode, so the changes are really minute. So basically, I don't know what the actual length of this is, but the faster your LFO is, the smaller this like distance is in terms of like. So I can see this window that I'm working with is 11 milliseconds long, whereas the slower this LFO is, the longer this window is. So I kind of like what I'll do. I kind of use it as something like disperser, where I use it to kind of create like phase offset between bands. So I've made this like weird bass, by like putting this shit through volume shaper. But then with time shaper, what I'll do, let's make the mid range delayed a little bit, and then let's make the low delayed even more. You can actually hear. Actually, I'll do like a normal. You can hear like phasing happening.
Wow.
Between the top, mid, and bottom. So you're basically doing like a dispersion effect where I'm delaying this mid band to come in slightly later than the high and then low, and you can change the band split, like the steepness of that curve. But then again, you know, you can tune this. So I could tune this rate to the bass. This was like 72 hertz roughly or something like that, and I can add in movement that's like tuned. So let's do the mid range. Oh, just glitch this somehow. Wait, are these all different? Oh shit, I didn't even wait, that's weird.
That's
Link
amazing.
it. Yeah, okay. I thought it was linked by default, but yeah, so you can link them all together, but then, yeah, okay. So this is actually kind of like FM, what I'm doing here, because I've tuned it to this note, and then I'm applying, you know, like time changes. You know, I'm warping the phase forward and back, or warping the input, you know, time-wise forward and back in such a way that I'm like changing the shape of the incoming waveform. So we'll get rid of the whole band thing for a second. Let's just do this to the whole sound. Maybe let's drop this down to half.
Yeah.
32. I can just draw weird shit in, but I've been really enjoying Shaperbox in general, like when I'm working on songs. Particularly, so if I've got a bass that has a whole bunch of processing on it, maybe this being a good example, actually. If I add in like a Shaperbox and add a bunch of movement right at the beginning of the chain, it kind of like, without ruining the tone of the bass, just like will totally alter it. So like maybe with this, I don't think there's like an insane amount of processing, but there's definitely a good chunk of OTT on there. Maybe I can like stick a rhythm in here so I can make it kind of like chug or something like that. Let's do like a couple of stabs.
Chug.
Yeah.
I love producer terms, man.
Yeah.
I guess you and Nolan probably do that with each other. Let's do the chug thing, and then the blah blah blah. And
Yeah. Nolan's a fan of using stupid words for it.
Yes, I love it.
Make it scrungle and swingus. You know, some stupid shit. Yeah, Shaperbox is fucking great for just like doing movement stuff. So I can even let in the bottom end, so I can keep the sub intact and then just have all the mid range. And same with like I can do filtering. So again, I'll let the bottom end come through, but then let's do like some sort of like band pass type thing. Let's do half. Let's make that a little bit tighter. So this sounds kind of weird. It's not like a super, it's not the perfect bass for this, but
it definitely is a useful tool that will be cool for a lot of reasons.
yeah, well that's it. You can do so much crazy shit, and the fact that I can do virtually audio rate modulation, I can go up to 5,000 hertz, you know, with my LFO.
Yeah.
Like that's ring mod. Like that's virtually ring mod speed here. What I can do with it. So I can make that. That's pretty piercing. Yeah, you can do some nuts shit. So I think in terms of like if I had to pick a standalone plugin that I do a shit ton of stuff with, Shaperbox is up there. I really like Shaperbox. I don't know if we talked about M-Wave folder at all. Wait, can you see these? You can see these plugin windows, right?
Yes, and I watched you do a video of changing a sine wave to a triangle with this particular thing right here, the wave folder.
Oh yeah, oh that was the M-Wave Shaper is what I used for that one.
Oh okay.
But I mean,
same company.
Wave Shaper is equally cool. I really like actually making basses with just wave shaping and OTT. That's really fun. So if you like,
I tried that recently.
Really?
I used it with the FL Wave Shaper, which I feel is different, but maybe it's not.
I like the FL Wave Shaper better. Sound wise, it does
You
the
do?
same thing. I mean, there are some slightly different settings. Like Melda gives you a few extra settings, but I like the interface of the FL one better because it's just like literally just the curve and like, you know, pre and post gain and a mix knob, and that's it. And you can do asymmetrical, which is nice. But yeah, ultimately, it's just like everything you need and no extra bullshit, which is nice.
Yeah.
I really like that. But yeah, I'm a big fan of just like making basses with just wave shaping and like OTT,
hmm
like chuck like let's just do two multi-bands. So I've got a bunch of like shit going through this already, and then just going and like putting in random curves and seeing how it sounds.
Right. Seeing it visually is also cool. You can actually in real time see what it's doing to the waveform.
Yeah, exactly. And you kind of like, yeah, your brain kind of develops like a visual reference for certain curves and stuff. You're like, I know if I draw this shape, it'll sound like this or whatever.
For me. So, what's the story behind your art for your music being waveforms? Like, what is the message you're trying to send there?
It was just stuff that I liked. I just really kind of geeked out over like oscilloscopes and stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah, just certain things that it just like I enjoyed the look of, and I kind of like the sort of vintage like I like the texture of like old cartoons and that sort of thing. So I kind of tried
Mhm.
to find some medium where it was like I like the techiness of like oscilloscopes and vector
Mhm.
scopes and like drawn lines. But then I also really like, yeah, kind of the texture of like old ink cartoons and that sort of thing. So yeah, I tried to find something that was in the middle of that.
Gotcha.
But yeah, it's just shit that I liked really. I think I maybe got inspired by Tron a little bit. I like Tron. Like I'm not like obsessed with that movie or anything like that, but I just like watched it one day and I was like, oh, this stuff just looks really cool. So yeah, that was it. I just find and I like it because it's digital as well. It's like shit that I can just
Mhm.
like I can punch. You know, I can build a machine or I can like type in some code or do something digital that will then generate the art
Right.
for me. So yeah, I don't know. I guess there wasn't any real strat with that. I just like looking at waveforms, so I figured I'd just like find a way to incorporate that into the visuals.
And what was the significance behind your alias?
um,
Copycat.
yeah, you know that one was just so I came up with that in 2015, I think. So I used to have a really shit alias, and I had a guy from Monster Cat a while ago was like keen to release some stuff,
Hmm.
but he said to me, he was like, I will only release your music if you change your alias. You have to make a new alias. So he really set an ultimatum, which was hilarious. And I don't know if that's like, I mean, he set his terms. There's no rules, but I felt like it was kind of a dick move at the time. But at the same time, it was the push I needed. So
Right.
I spent like, yeah, a few months trying to come up with something. And I think I figured out that the best names are ones that are like easy to remember, but
Low syllables.
then obviously not so simple or memorable that they're like already taken, or if you punch them into Google, they will come up with some weird result or like something
Mhm.
that's not you. So you want something that's kind of unique but familiar. So yeah, familiar words, things that you already know to some degree but have some sort of like catchy significance.
Mhm.
And I just started going through names. I just like tried different things. I had like a notebook where I just like anytime I thought of a word that was cool or something, I just write it down. And one day I remember being at work and I was internal monologuing. I was just like, I don't want to be like a copycat producer. And I remember just being like, oh shit, that's actually really good. And so I like just wrote down copycat and I tried to look it up and obviously copycat with one T. You know, there's heaps of stuff
Mhm.
that has that. There's like a
Yeah.
movie so I just punched into Google and I thought, okay, well, what if I just add an extra T on the end, or I like change a syllable or a vowel or something, and then yeah, added the extra
Right.
T. Nothing really came up, so I just kind of sat on
Mm.
it for a while, and then like yeah, later in the year, I had a friend who like forced me to enter a beat comp, and they needed a name, and I didn't want to use my old alias, so I was just like, fuck it, I'll just use Copycat,
Am I
and
allowed to
that's
know the old alias?
yeah, it was Alberto, Aberto. That was it.
Huh.
And then for a while, when I figured out that was shit, I kind of took the ironic route and called myself Andre like that because I've met people who, when they'd say my name really weird, and that's how they'd say it. So I went with that for a while. The old account is under Andre now. It's still there somewhere. Um, and the music
You
on there's
actually
good.
like cats?
What's it? I mean, yeah, I'm a cat person, but I
Oh,
wouldn't say like copycat is anything to do with animals. I'd say if anything, it's more to do like I associate it more with imitating or emulating.
Right.
But
Right.
I didn't really intentionally create significance or meaning. It's just like I think there is some convenient like associations with it that I relate to, but it's not
Mhm.
really like a intentional meaning thing. Um, yeah. What about you?
Maybe that's for me. I've been through a lot in my life, and the music was the only way that I could actually deal with some of the things I've been through. And when I
Mm,
when I used to make music at the beginning, it wasn't about being harsh. It wasn't about like thrash and like neurological, cerebral, in your face shit. It was like melodic and therapeutic because I just had nothing else. It was either going to be that or get myself into some serious trouble, and I decided to put my pain in sound, melodies, lots of melodies, and then distortion on melodies.
mm,
Everything I do with bass now is what I used to do with melodies, and
nice.
just do it that way. And so like I would make really angry melodies, and I would categorize the albums by color. If I was angry, it'd be in the album of red with
Oh
lots of
wow.
distortion and thrashy, like
Mm,
augmented and dimension chords and stuff like that.
yeah.
And
Right.
then it started to become where like my life turned into this place where I turned to, doing hard drugs and, losing myself in music. And then I realized that my music is supposed to create this feeling in people. It's supposed to stimulate your endorphins, you know?
Mm,
So you can either have a good time, feel high, or get through hardship, get through trauma, or to feel sadness. Because there's a lot of my music in my past where you listen to and it makes you tear up. I used
mm,
to
right.
find something in that, and I still kind of do that. I did that recently. I kind of just sat at my keyboard and recorded myself live on Instagram, stuff I used to do because I want to tap back into my old roots. It seems to be the thing where I'm losing myself and trying to fit or meet up or have these standards that I'm trying to get to, and then I
Totally.
realize like maybe you're losing yourself in that. So like try to go back to who you were with creating endorphins in yourself and others with sound. So that was my significance behind the name.
Nice. Yeah, that's cool. I think that's organic, right? Yeah, you're just trying to
Hmm.
whatever makes you feel, I guess.
Yeah,
What feels
yeah,
good and yeah, keeping it raw. I like
yeah.
that.
That's why I escaped the whole learning process of the fundamentals of mixing, because it was just like I got to do something right now, otherwise I'm gonna lose myself, kind of
Yeah.
thing.
I think that's a good strategy. Like and I found this like along the way like with stuff cuz I mean, obviously my mix downs have gradually gotten better over the years. But I listened to like even back in like the trash some of the early demos I wrote for Trash EP. Around then I had a lot of different people telling me like, oh, you should learn like mix down stuff and you should learn to do this and that. And I just was like, they were right in a sense. Like I think learning mix down stuff did help, but it didn't help the creative process for me.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think at the time I was just like, fuck it, I'm just gonna make
mhm,
whatever I think sounds good.
yeah,
And it did. It sounded good in its own way. There were problems and things that like now I can hear and correct, but ultimately the most important thing was just I was writing shit that I liked, and that was the best thing for my process. Was not like
yeah.
trying to compare it to every other track and trying to like match whatever standard other people were setting, or I
Mhm.
was just making shit that felt good and being happy with it and putting it out.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
And
that's a
then
good
what's
philosophy.
your favorite song you've produced
Oh
ever?
yeah. Gosh, that's a tricky
It's a
one.
hard question. It is a
Yeah,
hard
yeah.
question, but I wanted to ask it.
See, there's older ones actually. Funny enough, I do think it'd be
Yep.
within the Copycat project. I wouldn't go too far back.
Mhm.
Gosh, let's see. Uh, it's
Sometimes I
hard.
always think it's the newest thing that I've made, but there are times where I feel like there are some things that I can still not
Yeah,
meet up to greatness sometimes.
yeah.
So I'm wondering if you felt that way about any music.
And it's funny for how much heavy thrashy stuff I make. I tend to find the melodic stuff has the most sort of like longevity for me. People Pleaser is up there for me. I would say that's probably one of the ones that I felt most connected with because it merges a lot of things together for me that I like. It had some of the kind of like aggressive neuro stuff in there and like heavy
Mhm.
production, but it was a lot more melodic and kind of moody. It is kind of like uplifting as well. Like there's a lot of elements in People Please that I really connect with. There's a couple of older songs I think that, and I think it's maybe just to do with the association with like the time in my
Mhm.
life when I wrote it. I
Yeah, yeah,
have like really,
totally.
nice associations, but yeah, it's very hard to pick one. I would say People Please was up there. I was really happy with the Wannabe remix when I made it.
Yes, I love that remix.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun, and it felt like it encapsulated a lot of things that I feel like, you know, 16-year-old me would hear and be like, "Holy shit, that's crazy!" Like, I kind of,
Yeah, dressing yourself, I love that.
totally, yeah. So, yeah, I guess
Um,
People Please is up there for me.
I guess I have another question.
Yeah.
Am I allowed to know the story or the reason you made the song "Mother"?
Um, yeah, that was interesting. I didn't have like a goal. I know there's like implied themes in there. But funny
Mhm.
enough, so that one I wrote that. I mean, I listened to a lot of Sorrow. You know the artist Sorrow.
I don't. I'm gonna
Oh
check them out
wow.
tonight, though.
Okay, yeah. No, Sorrow was a massive influence for me. Let me.
Okay.
I'll just
Yeah, I
put
definitely
in.
wanna
I'll put
tap
in
into
some of my
that.
favorite stuff from him.
Do it, yeah.
Okay, my favorite track, one of the first tracks I heard from him that's like my favorite, Dreamstone, Mood Swing. So this one was one of my earliest influences from him. Actually, one of my favorite songs of all time is written by Sorrow. This
Really?
one, One Plus One. Yeah, okay. If I could recommend any song, definitely this one,
Okay.
One Plus One. Um, but he's got a lot of stuff that I love. Lover's Charm is gorgeous. I'd say this one probably had a big influence on Mother. But yeah, ultimately, I think I was playing around with samples, but I kind of ended up emulating Sorrow and then the sample. I don't know, like when I'm putting in samples or naming the track, I tend to just go with, I kind of go with the vibe
Mm,
of yeah, the kind of vibe that the song gives me. I guess everyone does that to some degree, but for me, I kind
yeah.
of yeah. I guess there's some vaguely spiritual stuff in there for me, some influences that I think about. Yeah, which I guess is gonna yeah, gets kind of complicated and personal, but I think
Yeah, that's why I was wondering if it was okay. I didn't
yeah, I mean
w
it's
think
fine. I'm actually not too uncomfortable talk. Well, it's not that I'm. Yeah, it's a more personal topic. I'm not against talking about it. But I guess yeah, actually this is a personal question, but yeah,
I'm
I'm into it.
sorry, and you don't have to answer. You
No,
don't have
not
to
at
answer.
all. But yeah, so I was raised Christian. Actually, well, I'm still Christian. But I don't know. I guess I went through a lot of change, in terms of like my thinking and my understanding of God and that sort of thing. But at that point in time, and I guess my relationship with God, uh, it's weird, hard to put this in a way that like makes sense. But I guess, um, I associated God with like a very nurturing kind of experience, and so I think the word mother came to mind, and I sort of like funneled some of that experience into that song a little bit. The samples that I found in like that one, this is the way he keeps from being hurt. That was actually from a this like um World War II like uh
Wow.
nuke video, which was funny. It was duck and cover. It was like this turtle, and they're talking about it's like they're just kind of giving this analogy for like protecting
Right,
yourself
right.
during a nuke, and I found that. But yeah, I
Huh.
guess those are some of the themes that are in there for me. I
Beautiful,
funneled
dude.
good
I love it.
experiences into that. Uh,
That's a really beautiful thing to know. To know that you're not just thrash and you have like this other side to you in music is a beautiful thing. I appreciate that.
for sure, absolutely. Yeah. No worries. Honestly, it's interesting. Like I used to be a pretty anxious person. Like, I wasn't like crippled. Oh, actually, no. There was a phase in my life that was pretty fucking terrible for it. But I would say music was like a big sort of shelter for me. Well, it's been a lot for me, honestly, in terms of like my journey as a person. I think music has
Mhm.
really been like a scaffolding for me to develop as a person. Some of the best, phases of my life have been, guided by music that I found at the time that really helped me kind of feel a certain way or understand myself better. So
Yeah.
there's definitely a lot of things about music that I feel like have become a part of me. And so it's cool to be able to write. it's cool to be able to write and actually put that in and create
Yeah.
that for somebody else.
It's identical to how I feel, really.
Yeah, I think it's yeah, to feel really personal about music is a really good
Yeah.
and healthy thing. Can be painful sometimes as well because you really
Super
care.
painful.
Yeah,
Super fucking painful. But
totally.
what else would we do? I mean, I'd be worried about what I'd do if I didn't have that, honestly,
Right. Yeah,
Not saying that's your case, but for me,
totally. No, it's it's a language. It's good to have a relationship with it. It's really cool.
hmm my wife always said I was married to my music first.
Yeah.
So
Common story. I feel like people who really love it. Makes sense. Well, that's
I
good that she
appreciate your
does.
time, Andre. I really had a good time, not just talking about production updates, but getting to know you.
Awesome. Yeah, likewise, man. I appreciate it. I'll see if I can find those dunk stems for you. I think they might be on my laptop, so I might have to have a little spelunk through my files
Yeah,
and see what I've done with
take your
it.
time.
But
I'm not rushing for that, but take your time, and I would definitely like to work with you on that if you're willing. And obviously, this won't be the last session that I want from you. So whenever that opens up again, I will definitely give you more money.
sure, no, easy. Yeah, I mean, I appreciate it. It's good.
I know you're humble about it, and you don't like to accept money from people, and that's not your thing. But I like that for you. So
Sure. No,
I
I
think I
appreciate it
think
a lot. And I
you
won't
deserve it.
downplay that it definitely helps. It's nice
Yeah,
to get
of
paid to
course.
do stuff.
Yeah,
So I appreciate it,
exactly.
man. But
I
hell yeah.
appreciate you, dude.
Yeah, likewise, man. Well, good sesh. I'll yep, looks like this recording is all working, so you'll